moving on here, we ask the question, why study Arabic? Okay, so we just have a few main points to really consider. Why are we studying Arabic? Or why should we study Arabic? First of all, it is the language of Quran. So therefore, when we study Arabic, we are studying the language of the Quran without the need for any translation. When we read, we should be able to grasp the meaning slowly until we become better and better in our Arabic, that we are able now to understand Quran without translation. Secondly, it's the language of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we all know, he was illiterate in that he could not write nor read. However, in his early days, he spent with Halima, may Allah have mercy on her. He learned the purest form of Arabic. And as such, when the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam speak, his speech was perfect Arabic. So we learn the language of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These two things, Quran and Sunnah, they are main factors of our deen that we are connected to. Okay. Likewise, it assists in khushu. What is khushu? Concentration in salah, as well as in our ibadah. Just think about, we raise our hands and we are making dua. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And we are saying it, not trying to reflect on a parallel translation that you would have learned some other time, but rather we are saying it with that full knowledge of the meaning. And we are, it brings about a level of concentration, of devotion, of submission, of sincerity in our ibadah, right? Likewise, in our salah, we read Surah Al-Fatiha, we read other parts of the Holy Quran, we go down in ruku' and we are saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, understand? We are saying Subhana Rabbi al-A'la in sajda, we are reciting the At-Tahiyyat. All of these we are saying, but it is not that we just learn something and we are just regurgitating it now. It is actual meaning that is coming out of us based upon the knowledge of the language, right? So therefore, it assists in khushu, in our concentration and our ibadah. And likewise, for many of the adhkar and many of the dua that we learn. Why study Arabic again? Many of the books in Islam are in Arabic. So therefore, we go back to the original sources. There is a greater depth in our studies. Okay, continuing, Arabic language, as you would know, it is the fifth most common language in the world. The Arabic language actually is spoken by more than 300 million people around the world. It is the official language of more than 24 countries. So therefore, by learning Arabic, you realize that you are learning a major language in the world. So you have English, Spanish, French, and so on. Arabic is amongst the fifth of the most common language in the world. The language of the grave and Jannah. We know in a hadith that when a person goes in the grave, the angel, Munkar and Nakir, and the other angels, they will come questioning him. Mar Rabbuk? Mar Rabbuk? Who is your Lord? What language is that? Ma Dinuk? What is your religion? That is Arabic. Man dhalladhi ba'atha fikum? Who is this person who has been sent amongst you? So in all of these, we see that the Arabic language in itself is the language of the grave. It is the language of Jannah. And by actually learning Arabic, a person will be learning such an honorable language. Okay, it was a language spoken by Adam alayhi salatu salam in the beginning. So, alhamdulillah, we learn the language of the akhirat. You also have learning language, it boosts brain power and improves memory. Now, there are many researches that have been mentioned concerning this. Learning languages, it boosts brain power because you have to always be thinking. You're using words, you're using, being, applying it in different forms. You have to memorize, you have to remember, you have to recall. So therefore, it boosts brain power. So you want to keep the brain alive and working a little longer. Everything is with the hands of Allah. But by learning a language, a new language, it helps towards this end. And what better language is there than to learn the language of our deen, right? And of course, people learn language as well for travel, business, job opportunity purposes, and so on. So these are some of the main reason why a person want to study Arabic in itself. The Quran says, "In anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyan." Certainly, we have revealed the Quran as an Arabic Quran. So when a person takes up an English book translation, is that really Quran? No, that's a translation of Quran. Quran, it is the Arabic version of it. Okay. Now there is a beautiful statement by Hazrat Umar attributed to him. He says, "Learn Arabic, for it strengthens the mind." It strengthens the mind. Learn Arabic, for it strengthens the mind. And it is one of those more structured languages in the world. Okay, a lot of other languages take their roots from the actual Arabic in itself. So this is basically an introduction to the whole importance of the language and so on. What is expected of you all as students is that when classes are going, alhamdulillah, and as we proceed, that you pay attention to the classes. Okay? Classes should be done, every Tuesday, inshallah. We have it for at least an hour here. One should pay attention to what is happening. If a person pays attention during the class, you'll realize that there is less work to follow up afterwards. Secondly, there may be some assignments and so on given. Like for instance, a simple thing is learn the vocabs. Learning of vocabulary is something that is connected to any language. Yes, there are techniques to learn. There are techniques to learn anything, right? Learning of vocabulary has its own techniques as well. I'll hint some of these to you. But you need to do your assignments, whether it be some sentences to translate or to practice writing or to get some words, whatever it be, the assignments be. You need to do your assignments. Then, as I indicated to you all about learning vocabulary, right? And I'll just touch on some of this. The approach to learning, if it is that we use more of our senses in the learning process, studies have shown that retention and applicability is greater. So we use sight, we look at the word, we look at a statement, right? So by vision, some people will learn faster by looking. Then there are those who are more the hearers. They hear. So you're using the sense of hearing. So therefore, when learning something, you should look at it. And if you say it loud that you can hear yourself, it is even better. Okay, so look at the word, you hear yourself. There's two factors, two senses involved here. Also, the aspect of touch. So you write the vocabs. So simply writing, like for instance, the word boy, waladun. You write wow, you write a lamb, you write a dal, waladun. You learn that word. The sense of touch also, it aids to the whole aspect of learning and remembering. Okay, so we have touch factor. And in language, one of the things that have been considered, so you're speaking about vision, hearing, and of course, I say to speak as well, so you have speech. So that's vision, hearing, speech, touch, okay? And you get that aspect of feelings there in writing. There is something that is often used in language which is recommended, and that is called immersion, whereby a person immerses himself into the whole learning process. What does it mean? You learn the word, for instance, kitabun, it means book. You learn that. But you know what? Don't just keep it as something abstract from you. Become immersed in it. That when you see a book in front of you, do not think book, think kitab. Bring that kitab for me. I am carrying my kitab to the car. I am going to write on my kitab with my column, with my pen. So you use the words in your everyday life. Yes, the initial part of learning, you need to go through that by repetition and writing and hearing yourself, and you go forget it after probably a day. Some people forget it after half an hour, whatever. Everybody has different learning curves and learning ability. But at the end of it, you just cannot just leave it there, because once you leave it there after 2 days, 3 days, you tend to forget it again. So you have to review it all over again. But if it is that you engage in immersion in learning, and when you see a book, you think kitab, you say kitab, you hear someone saying kitab, then the whole process is now speeded up. So this is what I would like for you all. When you see house, don't just think, don't say house. Even though you have to speak, okay, English speakers, and you have to say house, but you of your own should practice in bite on house. Say a girl, Benton girl, and like that, you immerse yourself in reading. Some people, what they say, as part of the learning experience, is that in their downtime, they practice mental speech. What does that mean? It's as though you are making up sentences in your head. You're driving on the road and you see a boy walking. So what you say in your mind, are you thinking the boy is walking on the road? How do I say that in Arabic way? يمشي على الطريق وعلى الشارع. So therefore, you create that mental thought and that mental speech. And like that, imagine you're giving us a lecture, and you have to use the Arabic words involved, or you have to speak about a book and you talk about pages and turning and pencil and pen or things in a bag. Think about how you would express those words. This is what we speak about in immersion. And in many language programs, they try to get you in a sort of a virtual way into immersion by showing you pictures, putting you into the scene. And this is what you have to do. If you do this, the learning process is speeded up, inshallah. Right? So that's a hint for the whole process of learning the language. Okay, so let's get started. Where do we start from? So what we'll be doing, okay, before we actually start some text itself, work itself, let me explain to you what we'll be using as our reference books and so on. We'll be using two main books right now in the first year. One of those books, which is the Basic Arabic Grammar, right? Basic Arabic Grammar. I think we're supposed to have some of those in PDF there. But for those who do not have, we can probably try to organize that. You can purchase it there at PDF. Of course, these are published and done by the Darul Trinidad and Tobago. And a second book that we will be using is a book done by Professor Abdul Rahim from the University of Medina. He had done a series of books on grammar and language. And that book is Arabic for non-Arabic speaking students. The part one will be starting. Okay. So we'll be using that mainly for like adab, which is more like literature and application. And we'll be using the basic Arabic grammar for the grammar and the blending of grammar and inflections, as I said. So as we proceed, I would just like to ask you all that, as you approach the learning, don't think that is a difficult language, right? Approach with an open mind. First thing. Secondly, when class is going on, well, mashallah, and everybody is a bit disciplined with that. There might be time I'd be asking questions and so on. Don't feel shy to type out your answer and so on the side. The most you could do is get it wrong. And guess what? Nobody going to kneel long and thing, right? No punishment. But at the same time, your attempt is an important thing to tell me how it is that you are progressing. Okay? So you can type, some of you all may want to say it. You know, we can allow that to a certain extent. But when you finish, you take off your mic. Because with the mic, you know, all the back sound and so on, it will disturb the class. Also, if it is that you have question, there is a question part of it whereby you can touch, you know, I think there's a where you could raise hand, right? You can do that. And then I know that you have a question. I will respond to your question, inshallah. Okay, so we are ready to start there. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, what we'll be starting first is an introduction to the usage of this is how do we ask certain questions. And the first part of it deals with, you know, the book by Professor Abdul Rahim. I have a copy of it in PDF. I can always forward this to you all. You all can look at it and read it and so on there. No problem with that. Right? So I can forward this book to you all, the PDF. This is a different version. There are some that do not have any pictures and colors and this type of things. This one has colors and, you know, a color scheme. So we can use this copy that I have. I will forward it to you all afterwards, inshallah. Okay, so we're gonna get started now. So when do we use hada and when we use zalika? What is hada and what is zalika? Hada in Arabic means this. Zalika means that. Hada, this. Zalika, that. Now, in the text that I have, I will give you all. Right? You'll have all of these things. But this is for our class work and, you know, going along with it. So, hada, this is used when the object to which one is indicating towards is close to that person and is a masculine word. Whilst dhalika, that, is used when the object which one is indicating towards is far from the person and is a masculine word. So some key areas. Hadha. Say everybody hadha. Everybody. Hadha, which means this. Hadha. And dhalika means that. Dhalika, that. Say everybody. Dhalika, that. So therefore we have hadha, this. Dhalika, that. Now you may know this word in the Holy Quran. Allah says, Dhalikal kitabu la rayba fi. That is the book. Dhalika. It is translated as this. There's a reason for that in tafsir. But dhalika masculine words. Okay, so let's continue here. So we have these words here. These are the same images, or well, you'll see similar images, but the sequence of them, they are the same as what you would find in Professor Abdul Rahim's book. So we will do some practice with this and then we'll come back again. So this word here, and it is really vocabulary practice. So I want you all to think a bit. So this word, baytun. Say for me. Baytun. Say that. Baytun. Baytun means house. Baytun, house. We know about Baytullah. What is Baytullah? The house of Allah. Baytullah, the house of Allah. Everyone's supposed to know this word. This word is, this picture here represents masjidun. 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 So we have baytun, masjidun. Masjidun. The next word here representing the picture is babun. 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 What is this? What is this? A door. Babun, door. Babun, door. So what do we have? Baitun, masjidun, babun. I'm going to tick off these in a little while and see how much you can remember. So we have baitun, house, masjidun, mosque, babun, door. The next word, you know this word. How do you say the book of Allah? Kitabullah. So this here is kitabun. Kitabun. So that everyone, kitabun, book. Kitabun, book. Baitun, house. Masjidun, mosque. Babun, door. And then we have kitabun, book. Continuing, pen. What is pen in Arabic? Qalamun. 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 Qalamun, pen. Qalamun, pen. This here we see is a key. So this is miftahun. 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 Miftahun means key. Miftahun, key. The next word is maktabun. Maktabun. Maktabun means desk. Say that everyone. Maktabun. Maktabun. Do not lengthen the ta and say maktabun. Okay, it's short. Maktabun. Maktabun. It means desk. The next image, which is the word is sarirun. 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 Sarirun means bed. Sarirun, bed. And last one here, kursiyun. You know about Ayatul Kursi and the verse of the throne. So kursiyun means chair. Kursiyun, kursiyun, chair. Correct? Kaf, ra, dhamma. Kursiyun, kursiyun, chair. So let's go through them again. We said it twice. Say after me. Baitun, house. Baitun, house. Masjidun, mosque. Masjidun, mosque. Babun, door. Babun, door. Kitabun, book. Kitabun, book. Qalamun, pen. Qalamun, pen. Miftahun, key. Miftahun, key. Miftahun, key. Then we have desk. Maktabun. Maktabun, desk. Maktabun, desk. Next word. Sarirun. Sarirun. Sarirun in Arabic means bed. Sarirun, bed. Next word. Kursiyun. Kursiyun. Kursiyun means chair. Okay. So this is the book that I'm speaking about. Everyone's seen that there, right? Medina Arabic Reader, book 1. Showing, confirm that you all seeing that there, right? Medina Arabic Reader. I just put a PDF on the screen. It's done by Dr. V. Professor Abdul Rahim. Understand? Professor Abdul Rahim. This has been used worldwide for teaching Arabic. Medina Arabic Reader Book 1, Professor Abdul Rahim. So basically, it's the same thing that you would have done here. But here, it is incorporated in the use of the hadha. What did we say hadha mean? Hadha means this. So, say after me, hadha baytun. Hadha baytun. This is a house. What is this? Ma hadha. Ma hadha. What is this? Hadha baytun. Hadha baytun. This is a mosque. So, hadha masjidun. Hadha masjidun. This is a mosque. Hadha masjidun. Look the use of hadha again. Hadha this. Masjidun mosque. Hadha masjidun. This is a mosque. This is the door. We had a newer door in the other slide, right? But I nothing. Hadha babun. Hadha babun. This is a door. Hadha babun. This is a door. Continuing. We have here a book. So you will say hadha kitabun. Hadha kitabun. This is a book. Hadha kitabun. This is a book. Qalamun. So what do you say? This is a pen. Ma hadha. Ma hadha. What is this? Hadha qalamun. Hadha qalamun. This is a pen. Then we have a key. The word for key in Arabic is miftahun. So therefore we will say hadha miftahun. Hadha miftahun. This is a key. Continuing, we have the desk. So you have many things there. It's a book, it's a pen, it's a student, a boy, whatever. But what we are looking at really here is the desk. So you will say hadha maktabun. Hadha maktabun. This is a desk. Hadha maktabun. This is a desk. Continuing, we have a bed. Sarirun. 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 Hadha sarirun. This is a bed. Ma hadha. What is this? So in Arabic, ma means what. Ma means what. So therefore, one will say, ma hadha. What is this? Ma hadha. What is this? And the answer will be, hadha sarirun. This is a bed. A chair. Ma hadha. What is this? Hadha kursiyun. This is a chair. So let's move on. Now, notice the use of the ma hadha. There are different forms of questioning and the proper way of answering. So ma in Arabic means what. So it means what. Now I'm writing with a mouse. So if you all feel right, what. Ma means what. We know what hadha already means. Hadha means this. So hadha means this. Ma means what. Therefore, what would one say? Ma hadha. What is this? Are we seeing anything for is coming in between? No. So therefore, that gives us a hint that the is, are, or am sometime in Arabic will not be seen. There is no actual word representation for is, our, am. In English, we need is, our, am to make complete sense, right? But in Arabic, it is understood. It remains understood. So ma means what? Hadha means this. You put that together, ma hadha, and you ask it with a tone, Therefore, it becomes, what is this? All right, so continuing over this here, we have Hadha Baitun. Ma Hadha, what is this? And referring here to the house. Hadha Baitun. Hadha Baitun. Now I want you all to look at this part of the structure here now. We have this Aleph. Right, you're all seeing that. This Aleph is used to introduce a question. So it's an Aleph with a Hamza on top of it. Notice that. So if we have, for instance, Hadha Baitun, there's a statement. This is a house. This is a house. But if we want to say, is this a house? Make it into a question. We can add a in front of it. Hadha Baitun, is this a house? And therefore, we have the statement, which was previously a normal statement, right? A normal sentence. This is a house. It now becomes a question. So this Aleph is really an interrogative particle or a question word. And it is a simple Hamza with a fatha on top. Aleph with a fatha on top. So Hadha Baitun, this is a house. How would we say, like what we did in the last session there? We did pen. Yeah, qalamun is pen. How would we say this is a pen? Hadha qalamun. Hadha qalamun. This is a pen. To put that into a question form, what do we say? You put a in front of it. Hadha qalamun. Is this a pen? Hadha qalamun. Is this a pen? So therefore, the is used to introduce questions. Okay, in many places in the Quran and Sunnah, we'll see this comment for the purpose of questioning. And then the answer now will be Naam. Naam is not Naam, it's not Naam. Note that. When people say Naam, Naam, that is Urdu. Naam in Urdu means name. This one is Naam. Naam. Nun fatah na. Ain mim fatah am. Naam. What does this mean? It means yes. Okay. So Naam, yes. Hadha baitun. Naam. Yes. Hadha baitun. So let's look at this here again. How do we ask a question? We can say ma if you want to know what. If you want to ask the what part of it. Ma hadha. What is this? Answer will be hadha baitun. This is a house. If you want to question whether it is a house or not, which is another way in which we can ask a question, what do? We use this aleph with a fatah and we say ahadha baitun? Ahadha baitun? Is this a house? And the answer to that will be na'am, na'am, yes, hadha baitun. Yes, this is a house. Na'am, hadha baitun. Yes, this is a house. Okay, so yes, moving on, here it is. So the question here is being asked, Ma hadha, ma hadha, what is this? This we can recognize as being a shirt. The Arabic word for shirt is qamisun. Qamisun. Say that everyone. Qaf. Qamisun. Qamisun. So the answer will be hadha qamisun. This is a shirt. Hadha qamisun. Now, just as we did here, by putting the I in front of it, could we also apply it here? And if you were to apply the I in front of it, and we say, for instance, ahadha qamisun, and put this as a question mark. Ahadha qamisun, what would it be? It would be, is this a shirt? Is this a shirt? Mahadha, hadha qamisun. Or you can ask, ahadha qamisun, is this a shirt? Again, the word qamisun. Qamisun. What does qamisun mean? Shirt. Qamisun. Qamis. Okay, we notice here. Mahadha. The answer will be hadha kursiyun. Hadha kursiyun. This is a chair. So the question is now being asked. Ahadha sarirun? Ahadha sarirun? The word sarirun, what does it mean? It means bed. So the question is, ahadha sarirun? Is this a bed? And what is the answer? Note the use of la now. La. La means no. So we'll say la, no. Hadha kursiyun. No. Hadha kursiyun. No, this is a chair. So, ahadha sarirun. Is this a chair? I mean a bed? What is the answer? La. Hadha kursiyun. Okay, we have on the side here as well. We have a pen. Can you all remember what is the word for pen in Arabic? Qalamun. 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 So today I'm going through it. I know you probably have a few new people. I'm seeing some people who this is just revision for you all, right? MashaAllah. But for the few people who are new, right, giving you all the benefit of it to learn of these vocabs, inshallah. So the word here is qalamun. Qalamun pen. Qalamun pen. So the question is, ahadha miftahun? Is this a miftah? Ma ma'na miftah? What is the meaning of miftah? Miftah means key. So, ahadha miftahun? Is this a key? Is this a key? And what is the answer? We already learned from here that la means no. So you'll say la. Hadha qalamun. No, this is a pen. Here we have ma hadha. What is this? Ma hadha. And this here is shining in the darkness of the night. So it is a najmun. Najmun. What is najmun? A star. So hadha najmun. This is a star. So I can ask a question. Ahadha masjidun? Ahadha masjidun? What is the answer? La. Hadha najmun. So the questions that are here, I want you all to answer for me. Ma hadha, I'm speaking about this. What answer would we give? Someone just give my answer there quickly. Hadha maktabun. Okay. Right. Hadha maktabun. Next one. Ma hadha. What is this? What is the word for bed? Sarirun. So you'll say hadha sarirun. This is a bed. Hadha sarirun. Next one. Ma hadha. What is this? You know this is being what? A book. So the answer will be hadha kitabun. Hadha kitabun. This is the book. What is this? Ma hadha. What is this? The answer will be hadha babun. Hadha babun. This is a door. Then we have here house. Ma hadha. What is this? The answer will be hadha baytun. Hadha baytun. Now another way in which the questions are asked by adding the I in front. So the question is, ahadha baytun? Is this a house? What would our answer be? Naam, hadha baytun. Naam, hadha baytun. No, this is a, sorry, yeah. Naam is yes. Hadha baytun. Yes, this is a house. Ahadha qamisun. Is this a shirt? What is the answer? Naam, right? Naam, hadha qamisun. Yes, this is a shirt. Next question. Ahadha miftahun. Is this a miftah? What is miftah? Key. So we know that this is not a key, so the answer would be La hadha qalamun. No, this is a pen. Likewise, ahadha najmun. Is this a star? What the answer would be? Naam hadha najmun. So here I have an exercise for you to learn, to read it and to be able to write it as well. As I said, I will forward it to Lisa also, and you all can get a copy from her, inshallah, right? I'll send the PDF to her, and you can get it from her. So you have Hadha Maktabun. Hadha Maktabun. You write down Hadha Masjidun. Hadha Qalamun. This is the pen. Hadha Sarirun. This is a bed. Mahadha. What is this? Hadha Kursiyun. This is a chair. Ahadha Baitun. Is this a house? La. Hadha Masjidun. No, this is a mosque. Mahadha. What is this? Hadha Miftahun. Now, if we are referring to a person, we cannot ask what, right? We cannot ask what. Let's imagine you're referring to a person and you ask them, what is this? They will definitely feel that you are insulting them, right? So therefore, you're seeing that, right? I don't know, for some reason the screen stopped sharing. So in order to ask about a person, we use this here, man. Man. What does man means? Who. So 2 interrogative to start, 3 interrogative you have learned today. The first one is ma, which means what. Then we have the aleph, right? Ah. And now we are learning man, which means who. So you have ma, what, ah is so-and-so answer, is this so-and-so, so you use I in the beginning. And then we have here man, which is for questioning who. Okay, and that will be used for persons. We don't have a, right, sorry about that. All right, continuing. So here we have man hadha, who is this? And this person looks like a what? A doctor. So you say hadha tabibun, this is a doctor. Hadha tabibun, this is a doctor. This person is a boy. So you ask man hadha, who is this? Now remember, for people we do not say ma, but rather we say man. So we asking, okay, yeah. So we asking man hadha, and it becomes hadha waladun is the answer. This is a boy. Say for me, tabibun doctor, tabibun doctor, tabibun doctor, waladun boy, waladun boy, waladun boy. Next one. Man hadha, who is this? Now this guy have on his school clothing and he have a bag on his back. So he's a student. So you'll say hadha talibun. This is a student. Hadha talibun. This is a student. The question now comes, ahadha waladun? Referring to this old chap here. Ahadha waladun? Is this a boy? La. No. Hadha rajulun. No. This is a man. So the word rajulun means man. Rajulun. Rajulun, man. So I see it's 7:30. So I want to conclude here. But before I conclude, there are some notes that normally comes at the end of the right, points to remember. I just want to mention these here because this really is like a synopsis of the laws, right? Some of the grammar. In this lesson, we learn the following patterns. Mahadha. Mahadha means what is this? Know that there is no is, right? Hadha kitabun. This is a book. We also learned ahadha baitun. Is this a house? Ah is used to introduce this part of the question. Is this? Is, could also be used if used in a plural. So you can say, for instance, Ahaulai Aulad, are those boys? No, I don't expect you to know those other forms right now. But I'm showing you the can be used for dual and plurals and masculine and feminine. So it is same that is used in front of it. Then we have na'am. Na'am means yes. Hadha baitun. La. Hadha masjidun. No, this is a mosque. We have man, who. So we have the use of man, which is really for masculine. Look, these are the notes here. 1. Hadha is pronounced ha-tha, even though you have a single vowel. Right? It's really like a standing aleph on top there. Hadha. That's how it is pronounced. So you don't just say hadha, but rather hadha, this. But it is written without the first aleph. But Arabic has no word corresponding to the English is. That is, the Arabic has no copula. The copula, which is our arm, that helps complete a statement in English. We say that makes it a complete statement, a complete sentence. In Arabic, we do not have is our arm. 3. There is no word in Arabic corresponding to a in English, as in this is a book. How did we say that? We say hadha kitabun. Are we saying something to represent a? So I will tell you, the little hint will be, you see that tanween that is on top of the word, hadha baitun. This is a house. That tanween is really an indicator that it carries the meaning of e. Hadha baitun. This is a house. Okay. The n sound at the end of the Arabic word kitabun, right? You have that here. Baitun, that n. Masjidun, which is really the tanween we speak about, is the Arabic indefinite article. And this is what we're speaking about. What we refer to as being grammar for indefinite article. When a word conveys the meaning of a or an, we say that it is indefinite. When we say the, it becomes definite. Okay, so a or and refers to the indefinite article. So that n, or what we call it tanween at the end of the word, this is what gives us that sort of a meaning that it is indefinite, right? That corresponds to the English a or and. This song is called tanween. The particle placed at the beginning of a statement turns it into a question. So you have, for instance, Hadha Baitan, this is a house. It's a statement, then. But when you put in front, it becomes a question. And you have a list of the vocabulary that has been used. So we will get back into the lesson. Remember, today was an introduction. We gave other things. So we didn't spend the full time with the Arabic. Next week, of course, we will get into it. As I said, I will forward this PDF book to you all. You can collect it from Lisa or whoever and show in and ask them to forward it to you all. it would be good that you also submit, if you have an email, you can submit it to someone there at BDF so that they can take note of it, that if you have to even transfer information via email, then it will be there. If not, then WhatsApp can do well, it's not a problem with that. So as we come to a conclusion today, say Jazakallah for joining the class. And the class, as I said, intends to merge all the different aspects of the language together. I hope that you all would have benefited. Okay. Tomorrow, you having any classes and so on, Sharon? Anything you want to mention to the students? Yeah, expected classes also.
Inshallah, Mufti, we have a class with Maulana Rahim. That'll be Quran reading.
Okay.
Is a class, right? So it's not just individual. It's like a classroom setting where
collective classroom setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same time, inshallah. After Maghrib.
Okay.
Yeah, so both males and females, right?
Males and female.
Yeah.
Okay. So alhamdulillah. So you all can submit the, as you have here showing, submit all address to who?
We'll send it out.
Okay, you have it then.
Yeah.
Okay, you have all the links and so on. Mashallah, no problem. So general feedback, how everyone understand? Am I going too fast, slow? As I said, I see a few people who already doing the morning night class who join in for a little refresher, right? But especially for the new students, am I going too fast? So it was just a briefing. I know normally I would revise in the next session before you move along, right? So this is really like a little introduction. I want you all to leave today knowing that you learn something. Right? It's not just only hearing about rules and rules, but actually you could say something. These few words that you would have learned, try to put it part of your life. As I said, learning with immersion. See your house and say, I'm going to my bite this evening, or I'm living in my bite. I'm sitting on my kursi. I'm not tired, I'm going to my sarir. I need to read my kitab. Use these things. Inshallah, everyone. So with these words, we'll close off. Next week, inshallah, we'll start off, and we want to start off promptly at 6:30, inshallah. Right? So, normally when I had to drive down Barakpo, I just be late. I just driving from my living room to my library now. So it's no late with it. So look up on time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Should I believe you have to end the session for all, right? As the host there.
Inshallah, yeah, we'll end it.
Assalamu alaikum.